fan of MSU parking on campus.
It's terrible parking during the summer, so I can't imagine how bad it must be in the commuter parking lots during the school year.
No, it's not a right, it's a privilege to park here, and a lot of campuses don't offer parking.
At Mississippi State University, Parking Services enforces the rules and regulations of all vehicles utilizing parking facilities on campus. According to their mission statement, Parking Services work to help provide for the transportation needs of individual departments and university organizations. Although the department affects the majority of MSU students, both resident and commuter, many students at Mississippi State are not fully aware of how Parking Services operates or the services they provide. After talking with students to get their opinions, we conducted an in-depth interview with Director of Parking Services, Mike Harris, to get the facts.
Pay $105 for a decal, they should have better parking.
It's cheaper than Alabama. I can't complain.
I think it's outrageous that they charge us $100 for a parking decal. When I first came to college, it was $75, and I don't understand why it's now $105 when I can only park in one zone, and there's not even that many parking spots to fill every person who has a parking decal in that zone.
And what do you do with that money? Have we not given you enough money already?
As with most things in society, costs increase, thus payments for those costs increase. The money for parking permits and citations goes into our revenue stream, our funding. That's what we get. We get no money from the state. We get no money from any other source other than those two revenue streams. So that money is used for infrastructure. We give $500,000 a year to the physical plant, which helps to stripe our lots, keep the potholes taken care of, basically for upkeep. It takes $37 per space on average to upkeep our current parking inventory that we have on campus. Okay, then we do construction. The new lot that just opened in front of the Wise Center, for instance, that was a little over $800,000 to build that lot. All of this money comes from parking permits and from citations.
More parking on campus would always be better, but a parking garage I think would be inconvenient to get in and out of between classes.
I'd be for it.
You'd be for a parking garage?
Yes, sounds very organized.
Okay.
Because it's not organized now, it's utter chaos.
Parking garages should definitely be on campus, and it should just be allowed with the $105 decal.
Right now we have 2 parking garages that are on the burner, I guess we'd say. One of those is behind the YMCA building, which is where the post office is located.
Right.
That will actually be a combination between a garage and a classroom building. It'll be a kind of a hybrid. The bottom 2 floors will be parking, and the top 2 floors will be classroom buildings, of which we need both on campus, obviously, by our growth and what we're doing. So there won't be as much parking as I would like, but then again, there'll be classroom, and so I'm okay with that transaction. The spaces will only be about 180 spaces, so it will not be as large as I would like it, and those spaces will be classified as visitor spaces. So anyone, whether you're a student or faculty or staff or you're just a visitor to campus, can park there. It's all done on time. You simply go in, you'll take a ticket, you'll pay as you leave. That's basically all there'll be to it. And we really need those in the central part of campus because we really don't have a lot of visitor parking. The other parking garage will be on the south side of campus, which is located in the area of the tennis court, which is on Bully Boulevard. That one will be about an 800 or 900 space garage, so that'll be a much larger garage. And we will classify that into 3 different categories. One of those will be annual parking permits for faculty and staff who would like to purchase a parking garage space for a year. The other will be for students who would like to purchase a parking space for a semester. We do that as a semester at a time. And then the remaining spaces would be for visitors, just as those are behind the YMCA building. These are the 2 new halls that are being done at Arbor Hall. 2 new halls. There's 250 spaces being built around that. So that's at a cost of $1,045,000. And then we have another lot that's going to be built here. This is the gravel lot on Hardy Street. So this is another lot that will be built on Hardy Street.
With your words like knives.
I have gotten a parking ticket from parking services for parking in the wrong zone because I couldn't find a parking spot in my own zone and I was going to be late to a test, so I just went ahead and parked somewhere and paid the ticket.
Because I parked in staff parking only because it was right next to the south parking, so I got a $30 ticket.
So I was eating lunch one day at the house, and like this guy on a little golf cart comes carting up in our driveway and he's giving me a ticket. And so I go out there to explain to him that, hey, they didn't have my name, so I couldn't get a thing. And he runs off and leaves. I had to pay $30. I was going to have to pay him $100. But anyway, I ended up taking it and getting it appealed, and they thought it was very stupid that I even got a ticket in the first place, which I agree.
The most amount of parking tickets that I paid, like on one ticket, is like $30.
You can't hit me, and all you're ever gonna be is mean. Why you gotta be?
On average, we base around 30,000 citations, and the majority of these citations are for no permit visible and for out of zones. When they began the construction of the 2 new resident halls at Arbor Acres, they lost a lot of those spaces, and so what they did is they offset the south resident parking by redesigning the commuter east. And what they did, the numbers that were offset from the commuter east to being redesigned for the south residents, we decreased the number of commuter east permits that were sold in the area, so they kind of balanced out. No quota. We get that asked quite often. What we tell our officers is to work steady on issuing citations for those who are violators, and to make sure that our vehicles are registered with a permit.
To get a better perspective of the parking situation for faculty, we talked to Dr. Megan Foley of the Communication Department. She gave us an account of her experiences with on-campus parking.
I decided to switch to gated parking because it is really difficult to get parking if you're competing with everybody else, and and also I think that there's something about the drive around the parking lot that is just mildly humiliating and frustrating. But they actually changed the procedure for ticketing, which is another reason that I went into gated parking. They started saying that if faculty staff start parking in the student area here, that they will start ticketing us. I mean, basically, they finally made the rules equal, just like students can't park in like the staff area over here by McComas. The reverse is now also true.
There are currently 20,424 students enrolled at Mississippi State University. According to Mike Harris, there are approximately 13,552 parking spaces allotted on campus at this time. The majority of these spaces are divided into 7 zones consisting of north, south, commuter east, west, northeast, and Coliseum overflow parking, as well as fraternity and sorority parking. According to Mike Harris, construction of new parking lots will go underway this summer that will add 400 new parking spots to campus at a cost of $2,591,000. Without the revenue from decal sales and parking citations, these additions would not be possible.
On-campus parking is both loved and hated here at Mississippi State. We are all fortunate to have available parking facilities. However, there has been much misunderstanding between students and parking services. Hopefully, this documentary will be responsible for clearing up the issue and providing the information students need to fully understand how this department operates, and possibly the motivation to make the changes they want to see.